how do you win a war? And I ask this to say, how many of you have seriously thought about what conditions are necessary to ensure permanent peace following a period of conflict? The bloodthirsty beasts that run the show around here would like you to think that dominance and force are the only way, that you will kill and destroy without mercy until you get capitulation, and that's how you win a war. And this is simply a barbaric unreality. If you want to win by slaughter, you have to be willing to kill everyone and everything associated with your adversary until nothing of them is left. And there are countless works of fiction that have theorized what would happen as a result of something like this. And this is so obvious if you look even cursorily at U.S. history. I mean, why is it that America has been on such a losing streak lately, while completely dominating the regions in which they're operating? Well, the Cabbage Patch Man wants you to think it's because those wars dumb, but these wars smart, which is an oversimplification of catastrophic proportions. Let's do a little history. The Vietnam War lasted from about 1965 to 1974, and in that time, estimates put about 1.2 million Vietnamese deaths, civilian and combatant, at the high end, compared to around 300,000 U.S. soldier deaths. The U.S. held and occupied close to half of the country, destroyed a majority of Vietnamese air defenses, bombed every one of the major cities to oblivion, and utterly afflicted the entire population with a deadly pesticide. Yet, we were the ones who tucked tail and ran. All this leads to the conclusion that dominance and might aren't the only things necessary to win a war. So, is it about belief, conviction, and fighting spirit? Well, maybe not alone. The U.S. has plenty of fighting spirit, yet our goals in conflicts go unmet. My theory is that the issue occurs with a mismatch of intention. You cannot win a war if the results you seek are not achievable through that war. You can dominate and kill and destroy, but that will not matter if you are fighting an ideology whose win conditions do not require the things you seek to destroy. Look at Vietnam. We were fighting to stomp out communism. They were fighting for freedom. So when it comes to Iran, it only makes sense that the only position we could expect in leaving hostilities was one that favored Iran. We were fighting for a regime change. We were fighting for a nuclear dismantling. We were fighting to weaken their defense. We were fighting to whatever. We don't know. They were fighting to dislodge U.S. presence in the region and inflict enough harm in the region to make U.S. presence regrettable and unsustainable. There are many different pieces and stories talking about the casualties and damages resulting from this war thus far on both U.S., Iran, and on the neighboring countries. And I want you to look at them and tell me, what story does it tell? Because the result is that while both nations are worse for the wear, the U.S.'s issues and losses are far more costly to the readiness of the nation's forces than anything Iran has suffered. And at the end of the day, the war was paused under Iran's terms and conditions, so this can't really be a win. The end result being that the Trump administration, if it were capable of learning, should have learned that winning is much harder than just being flashy and loud and destructive. It's about having direct, achievable goals that can be attained through direct action. I'm not saying I agree with war as a strategy to enact global policy. But I will say, if you're going to do it, you better be good at it. So strap on your boots to march, because the real war victory is the friends you made along the way.